It's a snowy and icy day in the real world, and no one's doing shit, including me. So let us continue our disco marathon. um, we need to crack open our case file that we have here. Oh shit! Oh, you can. I wonder if you can sell this to the pawn shop. Anyway, so our ledger interacts.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together by a clip, then made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner. Oh, and an incredibly cool piece of kitchen tissue is stuck to the back.
Open it.
Just relax. The two sides of the board are slightly misaligned, like a drawer that's come off the slides. All you need to do is bend the plastic on your knee, slowly. The slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just,
Slide it open.
without resistance or sound, the two panels move against each other. The compartment is now open.
What's inside?
2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard.
Ticket stub.
2 octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium costs extra. These let you go there, too.
Pick up the card. Why fucking kill yourself, asshole? Wow. Sure. Fucking kill yourself, asshole.
The words just crossed your mind somehow.
Who are they for?
Who do you think? You.
Pick up the card.
Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. You see violet flowers, floral patterns, patches of glue.
Smell it.
It smells of chewing gum, apricot flavored, a touch of cinnamon, the end of summer. You think the label says tutti frutti.
Open it.
Familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card, looped, round letters in a woman's hand. Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it when you wake up. Maybe it will make you happy. Throw it away, please.
Keep reading.
Your hand shakes, holding the card. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep behind me, it says, I find a little piece of sadness in me. I carry it in my chest, down Voyager Road. Every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. Sparks fall from the bow collector. I know it will be like this until late afternoon, when I get off the 42 and walk back to you.
Keep reading.
You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with you. You have a vast, vast soul, and I will always, always, always come back to it. Kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Everything around you gets dark. Small white dots appear. You feel the ledger slip from your hand. No, hold on.
Hold on.
To what? There's nothing.
Detective, is everything all right?
Wow. I literally fucking died from that.
There is nothing. Again.
Nothing?
Nothing sad, brother. No treachery. Just blackout. Well, Almost nothing. There is the ground below you. That's still there. And the small light that's on, fluttering, somewhere in the basal ganglia. That's me. Blue eyes, that's me.
And who was that?
Who was what?
He speaks of the sickening longing, the unwell emotion. Even in the darkness, he's grasping for it. Still trying to hold on to the great sorrows slipping in the water. Slimy.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
Here in the paleo-mammalian cortex, we call it the shadow. Because it's always there.
What was the X something?
Bloated corpse of the past resurfacing.
Yeah, that.
Don't prod at it. It will start moving again.
This is so true. Where is Voyager Road?
There is no Voyager Road. There are no roads, no houses, no lights in the windows. It's all on pause.
So my name appears to be Harry.
Your name is fuck all.
It certainly ain't Harry.
What is it?
Your name is passed out on the ground, dragged around by one of the other evil apes. They're taking you somewhere.
Enough. Just lie there motionless.
You think they would let you? Until you disintegrate into biomolecules? No. Someone is breathing on your face now, inspecting your pupils, stupid idiot.
I'm not coming back. What is that? It's cold.
Yes, they're pouring something on you. It's in you. And
It's delicious. Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of nothingness.
Where am I?
In the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Kitsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's basket. The air is thick with leatherworks and heavy fuel oil. Cold water runs down your chin.
Drink. Water.
The lieutenant is extending a small canister to your mouth. Drink.
The water is cold, silvery, the stuff of life itself, as it pours down your parched throat. The pounding in your head recedes. The darkness parts.
Drink. You haven't drunk water in 2 days. Did you know the human body is not made to survive on alcohol alone? You need a secondary form of hydration.
You know, I'm actually more of a magnesium-based life form now.
That's just a drug addict myth. In reality, you're still comprised of dihydrogen oxide, which you must replenish to go on living.
With greedy gulps, you down half a liter of cold water. Some of it spills on the driver's seat. The lieutenant pays no heed to it.
What happened?
I came into contact with the burnt-out ruins of the past, Lieutenant.
That does sometimes happen.
He hands you the remains of your ledger.
You dropped these. Are you okay to proceed?
Yes.
Good.
Wow. I wanted to see if I can further... Actually, the ledger of failure and hatred. This is the same ledger you found in the trash, only worse somehow. It makes you think about the letter, about the woman's handwriting, about not wanting to get out of bed in the morning.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together by a clip, then made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner. Oh, and an incredibly cool piece of kitchen tissue is stuck to the back.
Slide the hidden drawer open? Oh,
Without
boy.
resistance.
Never mind.
It's slightly, ever so slightly, difficult to breathe once you've done so. The drawer is locked. Blue ink drips from the white pages in your hand. Your hand shakes. You're flushed with adrenaline.
Jesus, my logic is -3.
It's proving to be harder than expected. You just don't have the intellectual rigor to patch the quilt back together. Try again later.
Yeah, we'll do it later.
The corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid on one side.
Well, it's down.
Mr. Measurehead has done a good job. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for a field autopsy.
3 skill points. Nice. A field autopsy?
Yes. 1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination of the victim. 3. Field autopsy. 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue. We are on number 3.
The fuck are they on about? Cop's gonna cut his shit up!
Got it.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Tell me something, dead man.
Shoot, Looney Rooney. Come back later, Corporal.
Try to take his
Amuse
boots.
yourself with my...
I thought we decided to leave it to processing. Let's not turn this into some kind of circus.
Try again.
I thought we decided to leave it to processing. Let's not turn this into some kind of circus.
What exactly is a field autopsy?
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
You have any more gloves?
Unfortunately, no.
I have gardening gloves. Maybe they are enough.
They are better than nothing. Tell you what, I perform the anatomical side of things while you will take notes.
You're being handled. If you resist now, he will turn on his heavy-duty authority mode. You will get your chance to dig in later.
We just fill this in, right? Show him the red field autopsy form in your ledger.
That's right.
You knew it because you inspected your ledger. The lieutenant is relieved you know the protocol.
Open it.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with
Assistant.
That's you.
Right. Harrier Dubois.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says
2. Coroner's case number.
KK57 0803 dot 0815. Next,
Name.
NA.
Date of
Next, NA.
birth. Age.
Roughly 50.
the corpse looks ageless, like meat on a hook, teeming with opportunistic microorganisms, letting out a foul-smelling diamine compound. Your eyes turn watery.
Race.
Mondial.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Sex.
Fucky, fucky!
The little monster exclaims energetically.
Male.
Pigs can have sex!
I mean, oh man. Male. This is so absurd. I'm gonna write male.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
Date of death.
We're still going with March 4th. 51.
040351.
What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
Evidence of treatment?
None, at least not after the initial examination.
I'm not so sure. Didn't the footprints make it look like he was carried over?
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dogwalkers.
He places his hand on the dead man's chest, as if in preparation.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then,
The sign of the cross, basically.
somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbat puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. There is darkness in the shed. Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette bull-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else. The building is tall, 7 stories wind-wrapped in solitude. Most of the apartments are unoccupied. This was a suicide, the other an accident, the small one. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today, 42 stations of breath.
We should start the post-mortem.
Turn the page.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
Number 1, external examination summary.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
He turns the body into the side to check the underwear label.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
When am I gonna get them?
Patience. After the autopsy, before the body is taken away, there will be a window of opportunity. After the lieutenant has gone to sleep. I hope this has helped you, my liege.
Tattoos.
He stands up, feet planted on either side of the body.
The upper torso is covered in a single continuous tattoo, resembling a national pattern. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a cargo lashing belt around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age, about 50. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing.
The spine is bent more than the lieutenant compensated for. This buster's actual height is about 1.85. And no, you could not take him straight on.
I'm gonna write 1.85 meters, Lieutenant.
Of course, I undercompensated. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
Touch the corpse's hair.
His hair feels wet, soaked with rain, cold to touch. Not that different from a living person after a swim.
Stroke it.
The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to your hand, like thread off a rag doll's head.
Keep petting him.
More hair sticks to your hand. Hair off the rain-soaked head of a dead man. There are bumps and dips on the skull below. An alien landscape. There, dead man. You were someone's child. It's all over now.
There, baby.
The lieutenant watches you in silence.
What the fuck, dude? This game. This is amazing. Write it down.
That was some sick shit, Sekopa.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs, consistent with stones thrown. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation.
Write it down.
Ligature mark.
The lieutenant produces a small folding knife, with the other hand pulling on the belt. He starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut.
The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Good thing we got these.
Always good to think ahead. Now,
He points to the rope squeezing the dead man's neck.
we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
Precision.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Look for a good spot to cut.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the yeast.
Yeah, I'm Kuno's pig.
You are? This pig is Kuno's.
Being Kuno's pig has a steadying effect on your hand. Go with the flow, man.
Cut it.
After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck.
The lieutenant has kneeled closer, running his fingers along the dark red groove until there's a gap.
As it ought to. This is where its grip on the curdled meat is gentlest, pulling up.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia.
He pulls down the man's underpants.
No! It's gonna happen, see!
I fucking knew it!
This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since the autopsy began. The lieutenant is trying to make it as boring as possible.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
And does it look like he was enjoying his moment of death?
Ah yes, your hunch before. We can have a semen analysis requested from processing, if that's what you meant.
No, I was trying to get a psychic read.
No, you weren't, officer. That would be preposterous. Just write down that we request a semen, vaginal, and anal fluids analysis.
The corpse with his pants down does not have an opinion on the subject. All he has is genitals and a deathly odor.
Inspect it.
The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch. You should touch it.
Touch it.
Doesn't feel like anything. Just cold flesh under your finger. Unremarkable and unalive.
My pig's so fucking ill right now.
His voice swells with pride.
Oh, your pig's pretty sick, I gotta say.
This wasn't necessary. What's going on here? Why are you doing that?
I'm detecting. Police work doesn't have to be solicited.
The lieutenant is unaware of what's happening in your head and why you're touching it. He merely expects you to write down his notes on the man's genitalia so you can move on.
Write it down, add semen sample.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are all combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip.
Bullets have bitten little pieces out of him. It must have been excruciating, especially the hip. Before you is a temple of pain that knew little tenderness in life.
In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
This is the body of a soldier, a mercenary.
We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars. Last item, hands.
He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves onto the other hand. Pick up the hand.
His flesh is cold, icy.
Pleased to meet you. Where are you from and what's your name?
My name is...
I'm only fucking with you. I know where you're from. From Cappadocia. And your name is Il Corbo. What can I do you for, Il Corbo de Cappadocia?
Pleasure's all mine. Tell me, are you a temple of pain and a stranger to tenderness?
You get me, Kobo. I feel like you were once, for tenderness and kisses yourself, but then shit went south and now you're ahead of even me on the pain front. We should do this more often. Be close like this, I mean.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling.
Were we expecting any?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Internal examination summary.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
You don't even have a joke.
Nope.
Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system.
Back hunched as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used.
He's really doing it. The dead man's teeth cut into his gloved hands.
Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
Look down the dead man's mouth.
No scream. No sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again. Straight in that mouth of his. No, you don't. You can keep it in. You can keep anything in.
Look deeper.
You manage to suppress the contractions trying to enter your stomach. All it takes is concentration. Through it, you see nothing but darkness. More meat and darkness.
There are ancient mysteries down there, Kobo. Ask me later.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus.
He lets go of the jaws. The mouth snaps shut.
Hepatobiliary. NA.
Why? Don't we have anything?
Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
No.
Neither am I.
That's it?
That's it. Same for toxicology and serology. NA.
Both?
Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there.
The completionist in me wonders if there's something we could still do.
We already have one test as per regulation, and we already requested semen.
Pigs requested semen like it's no big deal.
Is he touching it again? What is wrong with these mulpers?
Yeah, let's leave it at that. Can we change it to toxicology? Seems prudent.
At a request, then. We'll know if drugs or poisons remain in his blood. At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with it. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal.
He breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around to the ground, the pool of feces there.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
He touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen briefly. Write it down. Keep the voila.
What's next on the list?
Description of the injuries.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
Bite marks.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer?
Non-fatal post-mortem.
Agreed. Next injury?
Contusions.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Non-fatal post-mortem.
Right. Next?
What's the 4th field for?
Nothing. Just in case.
Number 3, ligature mark.
A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush. What was that about no clawing around the neck? You'd be clawing for your life.
Non-fatal post-mortem. He falls silent.
He is deep in thought, eyes fixed on the bright red ring around the dead man's neck.
Why do you say that?
I'm serious. I don't think this was the injury that killed him.
Okay. Why don't you think it was fatal?
Why didn't he claw at his neck when they hanged him? And why did they not tie his hands? A big man like this is dangerous.
Honestly, I'm not sure there weren't marks on his wrists. That part got blurry for me. The stench. But you are right. There should be signs of struggle. Let's leave the cause of death empty for the time being. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
First, how did it go?
It was an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy. But, personally, I do not see this as a parameter for success. We requested a test to be run on the genitals. That was the règle. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks if we are lucky. I will not hold my breath. We were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
Oh yeah, well done, Master Detective. Maybe a drink is in order?
Perhaps a drink is in order. Later, I mean.
Now, you see, that worries me. You will die if you drink. You know that, don't you? You are proving a useful detective. The organization would miss you.
Please get yourself together. The lieutenant from Precinct 57 thinks.
What now?
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg
Rip out a copy of the pages.
for processing.
He looks at the dead man one more time, and then at the slip of red paper on his hand, then at the corpse again.
He's thinking, did I miss something? You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse.
Can we just leave?
Some
wanna-
kind of superstar.
We want to steal his boots before Kim takes him.
They say the world isn't ready for a rock and roll cop. No one wants their state monopoly on violence to be mixed with celebrity worship. They claim to know it would be dangerous for detectives to rise to the ranks of demigods and have sexual encounters with barely legal cover girls. It would be insane, they say. To all this, you say, fuck off and die, in a cool voice. You people have no idea how good these cops are gonna get. They're gonna crack 20 cases a day. In the future, cops will be like astrophysicists, or prime ministers, or prophets. And you're the first one.
-1 to logic, price of self-delusion. Learning cap for a bunch of stuff raised to 6. Ah, I see. Interesting. I do have a lot of skill points. We'll come back to the body tomorrow because I don't want Kim to take it. So, as of now, we will see if we can go across the river, perhaps. Let me look at the Door Gunner Mega Mix.
The porter reel is just what you needed. The reels attach to the apparatus with a satisfying click. The tape is routed behind the magnetic reader.
Play it.
You push command set, and the tape starts spinning. Violent static and machine sounds fill the air.
This isn't Revachol. This is a fucking village. I can almost see the elephants.
The harbor. That's the son of a Kvalson crane.
When this shit is done, I'm gonna tear that place up. Soldier of the Apocalypse style. Kill shit. Dogs and chickens too. Gonna run a room, Cordy. A real nice room. I don't give a shit. I'm fucking done. I'm done mentally. I'll fucking do them all in. Rape that disco cunt on the counter. You know, the dance a whore upstairs. Do it Kohoi style. Never did get that taste out of my mouth.
The lieutenant presses the button marked Arrete on your porter reel. The tape stops spinning.
What is Kohoi?
A village on the Samaran Isola, in South Safre. Grad committed war crimes there, the kind of thing he talks about.
You think he was there?
Who knows? Maybe the tattoos would have an answer. Or maybe Kohoi is just merc talk for atrocity, slaughter.
What is Cordy?
One of the other mercenaries, I think. The one he was talking to. A friend of his?
Bad news.
What do you think?
It seemed authentic enough. Probably recorded off the shortwave, then edited to seem more incriminating. He sounded like he was on patrol around the harbor walls.
Agree. He also sounded drunk.
Still,
You are familiar with this look now. It's a look of suspicion.
There's more going on here than we know.
What was that silence at the end?
end of recording.
Okay, what now?
I think we've got a few more questions for class here, don't you? This seems to contradict her testimony, at least to some degree.
Interesting.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the hanged man, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time the lines intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. The pattern still kind of has an ethnic feel to it, but nothing familiar.
Who are you?
Gone.
What's the meaning of your tattoo?
For you to discover. You've gotten as far as you will without assistance. Someone close to the victim might know. The note is...
Does it say...
This is tangential at best, but the lieutenant's detective instinct is still active.
This is a note we found on that fridge in the basement of the doomed commercial area with the bear fridge. Read it.
Someone has scribbled. S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio, so I had to hide it somewhere safe. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place with a freezer. Take care, Sully Swaff.
Put the note away.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum.
This is the document we got from Everett to try to get those people to sign this paper to give away their houses, basically. Look at the zoning plan.
The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall.
Logic check, which we will almost certainly fail, but we do have that thought that gives us $1 every time we fail an intelligence check. Try to find a loophole in the deal.
There doesn't seem to be anything of interest here. No fine print. You're smart. You can read.
Kim, what do you think about this?
I'm no property lawyer, but it looks fine. I like the print size. They're not selling or leasing anything. It's not a perfect solution, but...
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides on the upper right corner.
Trace a path through the grid.
Your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue Saint-Sipar, over Saint-Brun and Martinez North, finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself. The face of King...
We've read some of these. Yeah, I think we're good now. I think we have looked at everything. Okay, I want to... let's see. Oh yeah, we need to talk to the old man about the flowers that the girls would put on their chest.
Officer, God damn it. Pull yourself together, René. What do you want?
Is there anything you can tell me about this rifle I found? Hold out the firearm.
It's a Bell McGrave. 4.46 caliber. Breech loading. Revachol made. Good weapon. Accurate and reliable.
His moves are quick and precise as he first checks the weapon, then aims it at the sea. This man knows firearms intimately.
This one's inoperable. The bolt spring is missing and the mechanism is jammed shut. Still a beauty. Where did you find her?
In the basement of the bookshop?
I'm not surprised. There are probably lots of forgotten wartime weapons lying around here. Back in the day, everyone had something stashed away. As for the rifle, I don't know what else to tell you. These BM-446s are an antique. No one uses them anymore. The ammunition is impossible to find.
Oh, I found your guard booth, by the way, Renee.
Yes, the Debardeurs Union pays me to stand vigil during the nights. Not out of any political allegiance, mind you. I'm an old man. Don't sleep more than a few hours every night anyway, and money is tight.
He feels like he has to justify himself for some reason.
You must have seen something on your night of the murder. Your booth looks right into the yard.
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, I wasn't working that night. Been on a 2-week leave since last Monday.
Who was working your shift that night?
No one. The booth has been unmanned since last Monday. There's no other guard. It's just me.
No one has been guarding the container yard since last Monday.
Yes. It's not actually an issue. I mean...
Look, officer. The container yard doesn't actually need a guardsman. Never had one before, René. Monsieur Claire had that booth built specially for him. It's mostly decorative.
Mostly decorative?
The possibility of someone being in there is enough to discourage any ill-minded individuals.
He tries to argue.
Evrard created this job for René because he knows the Royal Carabiniers' pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off. A decorated Kingsman collecting tear reflects bad on the whole neighborhood. His words.
Nothing wrong with tear collecting. That's my gig too. Proudly hold out your bag.
Oh, I didn't mean to imply there's something wrong with that. I do it too. Everyone does it. It's an excellent side thing.
Yes, yes, yes. Can we conclude the topic of my guard booth now?
He is not going to become an entrepreneur.
I saw a picture in there. You were in it. You looked happy. Who's the girl?
She is nobody. This is none of your concern, and I refuse to discuss my private affairs with the RCM.
The lady is Jeanne-Marie Beaulieu, and she sure as hell wasn't a nobody.
Got it.
Yes, yes. Like I said, I would be up anyway, so might as well keep an eye out. It keeps my senses sharp.
Oh, I saw the statue of Philippe III near the roundabout.
Ah, yes. King Philip III on his steed. A reminder of what Revachol once was.
Oh, absolutely. At the mercy of a cocaine-snorting tyrant who emptied the treasury so he could sleep on a bed of gold.
Cocaine? Cocainum? Sounds like our kind of king. And just imagine what kind of cocaine a king would have had.
A superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what this country can be under the leadership of a true king. Someone who knows how to rule.
What was that about Coke?
Oh, old Philip was a big fan of the purple nose candy the nobility loved so much. A cocaine connoisseur of sorts. His egocentricity is borderline legendary.
You can't even take responsibility for yourself. How could you fathom the responsibility weighing on the shoulders of a ruler? That's why the Philippian kings use cocaine. For clarity of vision. To aid in their work. Regnum cocainum. Revachol's finest years.
He seems to grow taller, brimming with pride about the past.
I'm satisfied with this explanation.
Of course, clarity of vision, awareness.
Philippe III was even brought into this world with the help of cocaine. The court made him administer the dose to his mother when she was in labor, and it is well known that with the help of cocaine, only the purest, of course, he was able to connect with higher realms.
Oh, I'm sure.
Higher realms. Of course, it all makes sense.
Such responsibility requires a boost every now and then. I sometimes need one too. I myself use speed to transcend.
Please, officer, don't encourage him. Do spare us the cocaine fairy tales. The RCM isn't interested in them.
Yes, indeed. We're not here to investigate the drug trade of centuries past.
So, how should a true king rule if not being a cokehead?
Decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood.
Powerful leaders, not afraid to do what must be done. That's what a country needs.
Revachol would be a different place if more people realized that. We could still be the...
Don't get started on that again. What happened, happened.
There's some wariness in his voice now. He's heard this rant many times.
The carabiner doesn't reply, but his entire being communicates unbreakable resolve. No one and nothing can change this man's mind. He is as rigid as they come, still in that antique uniform. It's a symbol for him.
Right.
Do Maybells mean anything to you, Renee? Show him the flower.
I prefer the old name, Insulindian Lily. Girls brought them to young cadets when they entered service. Wearing them on your cap was supposed to bring good luck.
Hold on, this is a royalist tradition?
It used to be. But the communards were fond of them too. Call them revolutionary flowers. Bells of the revolution.
Did they bring you good luck?
You know what? No. They brought me misery, false hope, and disappointment. The revolutionaries sullied them.
You stirred up some bad memories there.
But it wasn't the revolutionaries that sullied the idea for you, was it? She gave them to me too, and your jealous little heart just couldn't accept it.
Enough! I can go over these matters in detail with you, Gaston. But not while we have company. So, officers.
Maybells don't blossom yet, do they?
Maybe on some remote parts of the city they do. But I think you'll have to wait for at least a month.
Thanks for your time. Okay, they mentioned, I don't remember if we did this because it's been years. Just check real quick. The polar bear fridge. Did we open this freezer here?
This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting.
Turn the crank.
Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying, like stirring your childhood dreams. In the distance, you hear water dripping. It's all gone now. You'll never become a poet or an entrepreneur. What better to assuage the creeping sense of failure than some frozen fat and sugar?
Try to crack the lid.
You slip your fingers under the frozen lid, but the ice is too cold for you to get a good grip. A pry bar would come in handy here. If you want to try again, then you need to have the pry bar. This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting.
We need a better pry bar, apparently. We will come back later.
Both cables are unplugged from the breaker box.
Plug in the giant red cable.
Somewhere in the dark, a giant electrical mammal stirs to life.
Plug in the black.
Somewhere, a machine hums along with the current, happy and contented. Something
Unplug.
close to you.
Why did you do that?
I don't know.
The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything. The electric distribution board now has one cable missing.
Oh, we have more things to talk to Classy about. She lied to us.
Officer, what brings you up here in the rain?
Titus Hardy gave us a recording where the deceased states his intention to commit rape.
She puts her coffee cup down with a soft ring. As the porcelain meets the metal table, this does not surprise her.
Did he? I never said he was a good man, or that he had good intentions. Only that he was never bad to me.
On this tape, he specifically identifies you as the target.
Where did they get this recording exactly?
It's intercepted radio chatter of the deceased, recorded via a de-encryption station. It's authentic enough.
Does he say he's gonna do it Soldier of the Apocalypse style?
Yep.
Yeah. That was practically his pickup line.
A memory surfaces in her tired neocortex. It's not entirely unpleasant.
Did he say whores a lot? Was he pretty much on the verge of doing it Kohoi style?
Yeah, Kohoi was mentioned.
He wasn't actually there. He didn't do a tour, or at least didn't tell me he did. Would have been overkill anyway. He lived his own little Kohoi. It wasn't his everything.
Oh, he's just saying that for to be why is he saying that? Machismo?
Yes, was he bragging?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure he did all those things. Then integrated them into his idea of normalcy. To keep on living. Until they just sort of turn into his,
Persona?
What's the word I'm looking for?
You did, and then integrate him into his idea of normalcy. It could be persona or coping mechanism. Sure, coping mechanism?
Running joke. I was gonna say running joke. And it sounds like you didn't even get the good bits. Lely's punchlines got way, way funkier than that. He was like the Seminoles conflict, the Kohoi massacre, and the 36 famine in Yezut all rolled into one person, then cast in Orani ceramic armor, which he wore in bed and in the shower.
You like that kind of stuff?
We're all scraping up any happiness we can find, officer. Going around with our little scouring sticks. You, your first love, Mr. Kohoi here.
Did he tell you he had actually done any of those things? He and Martinez, I mean?
No. We were too busy laying waste to our own nervous systems to direct any of the fury outward. He seemed happy, I guess. At ease. As much as a man like him could be.
There is a small measure of pride in her that she could quell the rage in such a being.
Thank you for clearing that up, miss. Whenever you're ready. I'm interested to hear what Titus Hardy has to say now.
She takes a very small sip of her coffee and smiles.
Now that you've had time, can you tell us more about the victim?
Like, for example, his name?
Actually, officer, I didn't know his name. I just called him Lely.
A nickname?
I guess. He came from Lelystad. It's short for that. And it was his army name, apparently. He said his real name wasn't his. I tried to pry it out of him, but it was no use.
Lelystad. That's a good start. We have a few questions you can help us with. A few things a field autopsy alone can't answer.
The young woman cranes her neck, trying to catch a glimpse of the page the lieutenant passed to you. On it is a list of autopsy observations, recorded neatly in blue ink. The last missing pieces of a puzzle of flesh.
Where's Lelystad?
In Oranje, officer. It's, I think municipality is the term. A nowhere town there.
You were almost right, officer. That means his race was occidental, not mondial. I'll update the form.
You were both from Oranje?
Yes. We were compatriots.
Did that bring you together?
No. He was too old for that. And from another part of Oranjenrek. I didn't even understand his accent. What brought us together wasn't Oranje. It was bad habits.
Sex, alcohol, speed, probably also sildenafil, and violence. No love for Muta Aranye? Wasn't he a soldier?
A military man, but not a patriot?
No. He left the National Service after they taught him to do what he did on Seminine. He wasn't the flag-waving kind. He was the making money, killing people kind. He was by no means a stupid man. A people person. A small platoon leader. Certainly not a patriot.
A flash of rage comes over you. The words have already left your mouth.
A disgraceful mercenary. The Oranje state should have checked his breast for sublime patriotic rage before they trained him.
Had he passed that test, we wouldn't have gotten along. Come to think of it, maybe it was our hate for Oranje that brought us together. I love Revachol, though. I hope she loves me, too.
How old was he, miss?
He was 42.
42? Are you sure? I would have had him above 50.
He had many scars that made him appear older. But no. We even celebrated his birthday, like, some weeks ago. It was a funny 2 days. He had little reason to lie to me.
We were slightly off then. Thank you for clearing it up.
The lieutenant makes a correction in his notes.
A miss. The adversary one.
His eye color?
Blue. Light blue. They were like little blue galaxies, you know? It was strange, seeing those eyes in his fucked up face. Pardon the swearing. I do him an injustice. He wasn't ugly. And he had a beautiful, soft voice. Very surprising, what with all the scarring. It was quite something, watching him speak.
He had a combat wound on his chin and mouth?
Yes. Severe. It made him look like half his face was cracking away in some strange smile. That and those eyes.
Ah, yes. His hair, if you can remember?
It was light brown, almost blonde. He darkened it with brilliantine, made oily. Not nice to stroke. I couldn't convince him to leave it alone.
I too have stroked his hair.
Oily, isn't it? We have that in common now.
She understands what autopsies entail. It doesn't get her off balance.
He had a tattoo. What did it mean?
Oh, that.
It's clear she liked it.
You like it?
Quite a lot, yes.
It was a map of his service history?
Sure, service history. It was mostly for showing off to chicks, though.
How so?
How? Imagine him lying in bed. Freakish musculature laid out on the sheets. Scarred, of course. Tattooed. The sheets are dirty for some reason. He's smoking and drinking, of course. And his chest and shoulders and arms are studded with stars. Tens, hundreds of them. Maybe even thousands. And the woman goes like, "What was this, baby?" And he says, "That was too hardcore. Don't ask me about that." So she goes, "Okay, but what's this, baby?" And he's like, "Saw some bat shit there. Killed some loincloths." And so it goes. Star after star. Port after port. Third world country after third world country. And he's done horrible things in every single one of them.
You were the woman in this?
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us precisely what these mean? Hand her the photo.
No, thank you. I've seen enough of him dead. I can tell you what they meant without looking at them.
Go on.
He was a blue-eyed boy with thick arms, from a small town. He was also poor, and the government of Oranje needed some people killed, so they turned him into a grotesque killer. For money. He went to Killer Academy in Vredefort. Then he killed some people on the Seminine Islands. And on other islands, too. All of the islands. After this, he came to Revachol and got killed himself.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Change of topic, perhaps?
Tell me something. Did he enjoy his death?
Why do you ask?
It's just a feeling I have. Indulge me.
Well, it's wrong. He had too many drinks to down and too many bad things to do. Couldn't. Why do you ask?
It came to me in a vision.
Wow. A mystic. How intriguing. I have no doubt this is all adequate and true. I do not doubt the signs, but maybe you're interpreting them wrong? He enjoyed life, you see. A little too much, if anything. Up to the point where other people had to pay for it.
Could it be love that did him in?
It very well could be, yes.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? I have no idea. I don't even know what you mean. Love did him in? What does that mean?
He told me love did him in.
That's not funny, officer.
Her voice is like a slash through the air. Her shoulders tense up. There, she momentarily lost control over straight back guy. It appears that she feels guilty.
You feel guilty?
Of course I do. I'm hungover. I feel guilty about everything.
Do you feel guilty about what happened to him?
Among many other things, yes. I could have done something. There's always something he can do, right? Ask me something else.
We ordered a toxicology report. Any idea what that's going to show us?
A real rainbow splattering of pharmaceuticals, I bet. Barbiturates, amphetamine, sildenafil.
Hear that? Sildenafil. Just like you suspected. You have a great nose for this stuff.
What's sildenafil?
It's for maintaining an erection. Uppers are vasoconstrictors, so that feat becomes problematic.
Okay, and why do I know this?
Because you're a scientist, of course.
How much does the toxicology report cost the police of Revachol? I can do it for half of that. Save you some money, make some myself.
It's quite expensive, miss, but we'll manage without your help for now.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. We requested a semen screening for processing.
Good for you.
What do you think it will tell us?
I don't know how a semen sample works, officers. How many days after intercourse does it have to be? I don't even know if he had sex with someone else. We didn't go steady.
This is one of her maneuvers. The others are fast asleep, as always. It's hard to say what the truth is.
I think we're finished with this line of questioning.
All right.
The lieutenant puts the slip back in his notes and observes the young woman for a moment.
Coolly, gracefully, she pours herself more coffee.
We'll be back. All right. We'll go talk to Titus when we return.